Well, in a week that just won't quit for poor Shop Dog, it's time for a Pontiac video. The kids are here getting all set up. We'll push some things out of the way, and who knows what we get done. The only thing I know for a fact we're finally going to get done is we have an O-ring for a modulator. The hard part is you had to buy a modulator to get one. They are not common. So
that means that was a $20 O-ring.
Yes, it does. Well, the problem is everywhere online I could order it. By the time I've shipped it, you spend $20 and you got an O-ring. So, no, I was just showing him the bracket and my thought process on that. And they're grabbing some things. He got the battery clamp hardware. So we're dying to see how that works and if there's any repairs we're going to have to do in this area. Because I think this hole or this hole is integral. So we'll be finding that out shortly. Shop Dog says we'll let that one cool down for a bit. We'll get back to work here. So one of the things, and we thought it might be the case, is that, well, let me grab a light. You'll see, not that hole, the one that's all rusted and funky. That's, of course, where the end of this locates right here, which is probably why it's all rusted, because the battery outgassing. So I think what we're going to do, measure out a spot, make the correct hole in it, and get it attached in here. Had thought about welding it, but it's really close to this plastic. I mean, really close. And we really don't want to pull this whole grill. So it's probably actually going to just be bolts. And that'll be more than sturdy enough. Okay, he's coming along on figuring out how he wants to route wires. So that's good. And we will make little heat shrinkers for him. And while he's doing that, I cut this out of our thick plate. So now you can get that in there. Then I've got 2 attachment points that I'm working out right now in my mind, because I don't want to be able to notice it from the front of the car. Since I always have a bunch of extra of my favorite wire set. You know, these Street Fires for the cost are really hard to beat, but people always burn like the number 5 on a Camaro or something, so I've always got extra wires. And he's getting ready to do this and hasn't done it in a long time. So I'm just going to take one of my spare wires. We're going to pretend that it's one of these guys and that we're going to show you how to estimate how long to cut it. So I'm going to hand that over. Let me get my cutters. Okay, so we're, in this case, pretending that this wire is number 6. So it's coming up, we've got it routed, we know where we want the plug to fall. So once we figure out exactly what angle it's coming in at and where it's going, I'm going to take, like in this case, that buy is right over the terminal. So, and then I love these little things. I'm just going to cut it there. So what that left us is the extra length we need to trim it. The wire kits always come with these. I got them everywhere. So you figure out which one you need. So in this case, that's the 8 mil. If you had the 8.5 mil, you know, see, it would fit in there. So you're going to do that. And then usually it should say in a paper, but you're going to take a knife. You're just going to lay it across that. Rotate the wire. That's also reality. That's part of why there's always extra wires, in case you were curious. So see, that should have, nope, that should have enough to cut in. Because the part you don't want to cut is that black center conductor. Okay. So we've done spun it a whole bunch of times. See, you can see it's all kind of breaking in there. Spin it, pull it. And see, that's what we get. On the other end, now this one's one we can push it in with a little lube. Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you may have to already have a boot on. It'll usually tell you. And then there's 2 different ways people like to do it. I will take that and fold it under, so when we crimp it, that has no choice but to make contact. Some people like to put it to the side. It probably is irrelevant. But the next thing we're going to look at is this little tool they send us. Does a couple things. Not only did it do the measure gauge, now see it's backwards. So you take these little ears, let's see the little crimp window. When you look at how that's going to come in, we can just take a vise we're going to take this guy, bend it over, pop it just like we had before. Remember, we don't want to be intruding into where the spark plug goes. Give it a little pinch just to kind of get you where you're going. And then remember, this piece will go in here. Here, let me do it without the wire so you can see it easier. This piece is going to go like that to become the crimp. This is just the pushing block. So see how that engages? That will push on that to fold it for the crimp. So if we go back in here, we'll make a crimp real quick. Remember, keep your conductor in there. And the crimp is really easy. You can't mess it up because it bottoms out. So you just open your vise. Or, you know, if you're doing it at the car, you can use a big channel locks or something. But you just slowly pop it in there. Like I said, you really can't mess it up because, see, it's kind of bottoming out. It doesn't want to go anymore. You pop it apart. So now we've got a nice crimp. You can see all around that. You can see how that goes. And then what I will do is take a little dielectric grease, which I thought we grabbed, but maybe we didn't. Let me go grab some. I thought that's what Kevin came to do.
I didn't get it.
And I like the silicone grease. I know ShopDog likes to make it all so dramatic.
ShopDog didn't get any either.
Put a little silicone on there. Then you take whatever boot is the boot you're adding. And you will push. And what you really want to do is keep it square. Because once they're rotated, that's not fun. Okay, so see how you can look down in there and see it?
It's all dark in there.
Oh, is it? Well,
It is.
let's go grab a spark plug. Or actually, we don't even need a spark plug. Let's just pop it on a cap. Pretty sure there's a cap right here. Yeah, that'll work.
The
Got a
magic
coil.
parts box.
So pretend that's our spark plug or our coil or anything. Boom. See? Lines up. Did you hear the snap? That's that black retainer. So there.
There you go.
That's how easy it is to make a wire. And even when you're playing on the camera, that wasn't that hard.
Nope, super easy.
So
It's all about getting the right length.
that's the thing, because you can't make it longer.
And don't cut through that.
No, because that's where your 50,000 volts is.
Yeah. And you start over. All right.
All right.
There you go.
See? Not that hard. Now he's doing the actual number 6. And we decided it was a little easier with a razor blade. And we did make shrinkers, but we're not going to shrink this end until they're all on the car, so you can line them up real nice. Ooh, see, Pixie's been back here running the polisher, cleaning things up. Someone's got to do it. And it sure isn't going to be ShopDog. He's allergic to polishing and doing hard labor. Okay. So, you don't see the screws from the front, but that's where the plate is. You can see that. Remember, this isn't a restoration. This is just to make the car fun. And then that's all screwed in, and that should secure our battery. Because when this came, it did not have a very secure battery. You see that a lot. There was a little thunder, and ShopDog's just a little worked up over it. Hey, he's getting through. Wires are coming out. He's been slowly working his way through them. Yeah, I know. The one problem I'm definitely seeing with the new battery thing is it doesn't really fit this size battery that well. but it will work. That is not an issue. So we'll keep on that. It sounds like Pixie's still polishing. Yep, oh, just changed pads. So yeah, looking good. Okay, now he's working on this bank. It's all coming out pretty nice. After a few attempts and taking it apart and playing some magnet games because gravity is real, the handle's back on. That's the hole you drop the little screws in no matter what. But yeah, this is starting to really look like something. While we were up here, we dropped that bracket a little bit more. He was getting rattles when it was cold. So we now have biscuits on both sides. And now that should give us plenty of air gap. Other than that, everything's sturdy still. So they can drive that home tonight. That's good. How's it going in here?
Good.
It's going good?
Yeah, getting the last of it here.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. See? Stay organized, stay patient, and it works out great. Okay. He's got him heat shrunk. And he's doing his little clips. And you gotta admit, it's looking pretty good. At some point he's gonna have to pull that tape. But yeah. That looks like it's gonna work really nicely. Okay, the next thing we're doing is addressing this leaking O-ring here. So I tried using a generic O-ring, couldn't do it. You gotta buy the right one. Well, it's hard to actually get the right one, so we had to buy a modulator, but we're not really sure we want to use this aftermarket one since this factory one seemed to work. And you know, if I don't have to go aftermarket, I really don't want to, because aftermarket garbage is garbage. Not sure I actually showed you guys all of the work that it took to make this happen. But there, this is the GSS, that thing there. So that's just a linear pot. So as this moves, the little computer for the Dakota dash can then tell what gear you're in. And I know we have, you know, gear marking on the console, but it's really cool when the Dakota digital dash also tells you what gear you're in. And you can see just how much spacing and bending it took to make all this happen, because normally you don't have a column shift car getting a GSS. So it took a little work, but we got it to clear. There's plenty of room. It's not going to hit. So yeah, that wasn't very fun, but Jeff and I got it done. ShopDog says that we've had a productive day. So we got that sitting there so we could see how things are going to look. Plenty of clearance. That's not an issue at all for us. The wiring sure came out nice. So we're gonna have to wait and see if the O-ring on the modulator solved our problem. You know, it takes a little time. So I'll know tomorrow-ish. Yeah. Oh, and then Kevin, have you actually shifted the car?
I haven't shifted the car.
After all the work that Jeff and I went through?
Yeah, let's see how
So,
it works.
yeah, I don't know that he's ever shifted it.
Got to put the foot in the brake first?
No, this is way before then.
Oh yeah, feel that. Boy, that's nice.
Yeah, no, it feels good.
Park. Reverse. Drive. Yep. Oh, you got to press the button to get in the lowest.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look at that. That's nice. Yep, nice.
Yeah, no, it all works.
Cheryl, you should shift that.
Is it much better than the last time I shifted it?
I think so.
I think it's going to be a lot better.
Oh God, yeah. I had to pull on it last time.
Got to push the button.
I am pushing the button.
We'll work on that hand strength. Actually, those might not be able to tighten all the way up. So, yeah.
Went back all the way easy. Who's getting that forward?
But there. So, literally all that's left in here is I need to hook up the HEI to ignition, hook up the coil, and we're going to hook up this ignition to the sniper. This is the fuel pump trigger from the sniper. This is the ignition, or I mean not the ignition to the sniper. This orange one is the TH400 kickdown. That's going to be set up as a relay to run it so the sniper can do it, and that's going to come out of that harness. I've got to get this set up and start looking around for some cables for the grounds. I haven't put zippies on there yet, but we've got our AC line. I finally got that connector. Yeah, we're getting close. I'm really happy with how the wires came out.
Oh, did you see how the back came out?
Oh, no. Yeah, she finished this. And then remember, this is all going to become new material. All of this material will be changed. But for now, we need it to be here because it's the pattern. But yeah, look at that. That looks pretty good. Yeah, and I think you were right. Putting the black in there really does make it look nicer.
Yeah.
It kind of fits the theme.
Hides the pitting too.
But goodness gracious. You could put a sheet of plywood in here. I bet people did.
They advertised it that way.
Plywood, throw a mattress in there, boom, you're across the country.
Yeah.
So, all right. With all of that being said, what do we say?
Thanks
for
for
watching.
watching.